talking about Acumatica and how to automate manufacturing resource planning and integrated payments. And I'm so pleased to be joined today by two leading integrated software vendors for Acumatica enhancing the ERP. Jack Yu, he's the president of AppComputing. Maya Green, he's the senior vice president and of the ERP sales for Fortis, and Robert Ullman, ERP sales consultant over at Fortis. They're going to be talking about payments, and Jack's going to be talking about manufacturing resource planning and Acumatica and how his solution enhances that functionality in Acumatica as it applies to manufacturing. We are recording this webinar, and we will be sending the recording out to everyone who attended and registered. So a little bit about AppComputing. AppComputing was founded in 2008. It's based in Silicon Valley. It's a cloud-based application built for small and mid-sized businesses, and they have a certified integration with Acumatica. And they also work with all the other cloud softwares like NetSuite and Sage Intacct. So you might have heard of those as well. So they're a mature solution that's developed over time. They have a specific manufacturing resource planning integration, along with a budgeting and planning and pre-built modeling with multi-entity consolidation. And you can see here they have many, many customers over the years that are benefiting from their solutions. And they're going to be talking about the manufacturing aspect today. Fortis is a leading provider of integrated payment technology solutions to North American merchants. They're differentiated by their strategic partnerships and their multi-platform model. So they look at the unique needs of the customer, and they will apply the best integrated payment solution based on how they do business. And their goal is always to provide great customer service, but also lowering your credit card processing rate based on the volume of payments that are processed. They have a broad suite of end-to-end payment solutions. They are all U.S.-based customer support, and their solutions are offered through a diversified network of partners who help with the integration locally, and alliances that they've built with over 25 years by integrating and developing those relationships as part of the drive to help all business partners succeed and grow. By leveraging those partnerships, they can drive down the cost of credit card processing. And so we're going to kick it off here with Jack with AppComputing. He's going to be talking about the manufacturing resource planning. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Jack. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Andre. Let me share my screen. 1 second. Okay, Andre, can you see my screen?
Yes, you're in PowerPoint mode. So once we're in slideshow, it will be perfect.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Andre. Hello, everyone. So I'm going to show you a quick demo today about manufacturing resource planning and what that means. And before we go there, let me explain a little bit background about the company. So like Andrea make an introduction, that our company founded about 14 years ago with many happy customers using our solution for many years. And our solution has a few different focuses. So today we're going to focus more on manufacturing resource planning, which is based on the future sales projections, not in the history. In the history, for actual order, you can use Acumatica building a manufacturing resource planning to fulfill the order, right? But for the future order, you cannot enter the fake order into your ERP system, which is a conflict the accounting control. So that's where we bring the value to let you to plan out the manufacturing resource based on the future sales projection. Well, I'm going to show you how that works. So these manufacturing resource planning can build for inventory and also build to order. So I can show you what the differences are. Build to inventory is usually for large volume, and build to order is mainly for enterprise order, complex like the semiconductor equipment. So I show you how that works. So that can let you to project the inventory, resource, and cash flow, which is very important. That once you get a lot more new order, your sales department get excited, right? But the finance department start worried and may run out of cash because of the fulfillment order entry. That also requires manufacturing resource and also cash flow requirements as well. So certainly in the platform, we also provide a full budgeting planning solution, which we are not going to demo today. But if you're interested, let us know. We can schedule a separate offline demo for you. And together, we also provided a full consolidation solution, which is across multi-entity, multi-region, currency conversion, elimination. Everything is automated in the system. So with that highlight, I'm going to show you a quick demo on manufacturing resource planning, which is the main topic we have today. So in the MRP module, I think that you all already have MRP module inside your ERP, which is your accounting system, to handle the existing order, where you can enter the order, build up a bill of material, multi-layer, and then production order, and then go through the inventory, fulfillment, delivery, right? Those are all good. But when you need to deal with the next year's of forecasting, for example, in the next year, we create a 1-year forecasting for 2023, assuming that we're going to ship 1,000 units of this particular item, right? I just set up a very simple example. And 1,000 units each month, then we need to deliver that 1,000 units each month. So that will demand certain amount of inventory build up. So how are you going to build that inventory? And that future order, which is the next year's order, you cannot enter into your accounting system, right? So that's where our platform provides a solution to help you to manage the future order and future manufacturing planning module that you can build the exactly similar or component level multi-layer bill of material. So this is a simple example. So this particular order item, which is coming from a subscription module, that 1,000 units each month, and then we need to deliver. And together, we also carry a certain amount of warranty, right? So let's say 5% warranty claim. So you also need to build additional warranty units in the inventory and get ready for shipment for warranty claims. So based on that demand, then you can build out your bill material. So in today's demo, we're going to show very basic bill material. You can create a multi-layer, more complexity of a BOM. So in the bottom layer, we start out with a cable, right? So for example, that we purchase a cable from outside, and then we produce a second component, which is an internal manufacturing. And then we also purchase external component, put them all together, that becomes a bill material for item number 1. Certainly you can expand this bill material to multi-layer, more complexity down to the different level. So let me show you the layer by layer as an example. So as a cable, we purchase it from outside. First, we need to convert, right? Cable is measured by 100 feet, but it doesn't fit into the unit. So we do a conversion. So each cable order can fulfill 2 items, which means 0.5 conversion ratio. So first you get the conversion ratio, get into demand. Once you get into demand, then you're going to purchase the units based on your standard costing. Then we assign the material, external purchase cost material. That material cost can change over time, right? Depends on your vendor sourcing. You can change the material cost. And you also need to add additional labor and overhead to process the cable. When the cable comes in, you need to cut it, you need to process, you need to unionize, so that we add the labor and the cost. And the yield for production will be 100% will be perfect, right? But many times you don't see 100% yield. So you can put a yield percentage. Based on yield percentage, then we calculate what the really output total cost is for this particular component, right? And then you can go into cost reconciliation, the backsplash that you can, based on the standard costing and also based on the actual yield and based on labor and overhead, that comes out the output cost. The cable output will go into internal production as an input cost. So the unit we need is $1,000 of shipment. So that we can go into the conversion ratio, which is a 1-to-1 for this example. Then we go into production. That we have another yield factor, right? Production is always not 100% based on quality control. You can factor in the yield percentage. So all these is automatically handled by the application. So you input a yield, and you can see a lot of import button. The import can import from your external data source, can import from your design worksheet, and then also all the units and conversion ratio, you can import from your external data source. So with this production units, we also add additional labor and overhead to make the total output. So based on this production unit output, then you can do a cost reconciliation. So you realize that, oh, we have an overrun of the cost. Based on the standard costing, based on yield ratio, based on the labor overhead, we automatically calculate what is the over variance. In this case, 3,540 actual cost that we need to expense, right? Because this is a standard costing inventory, and we overrun the cost by production, and we show you the variance at each layer of bill of material. So continue on to another component, which is you can always add more layer of production. When you have a multi-layer bill of material, you can always add additional layer component to it, and then you can also add additional external sourced component. So in this example, we have another external sourced component going through the purchase module and standard costing, labor overheads, and this one we assume is 100% yield because it's just exactly inventory in, inventory out. There's no conversion ratio. So with that, we can reconcile all the production costing for this particular item. So you can see that the production roll-up coming from the table with internal component manufacturing and combining with another externally sourced component, together we have finished product. And that finished product, based on the costing roll-up, we realize that this is an additional production variance that we need to expense, total 8,800 overrun. And when we have a certain material that we need to keep in the inventory, for example, warranty reserve. So we need to reserve that in inventory. So that will go into the inventory finished goods waiting for warranty claim. And also additional inventory as a buffer that we can always plan that additional inventory throughout the manufacturing process. So that will give us all the component, all the cost reconciliation in one easy, understandable view. So this is the item that we need to ship based on the demand, and this is each unit demand, and then we based on the conversion ratio. And then you can see that all the costing calculation is fully automatic by the application. So we start with the manufacturing cost, external purchases, goes through the work in progress, and going through the finished goods, going through the delivery, and going to cost of goods sold. So all these will be automatically calculated by the application and post to the financials. So this is the one example of build to inventory, which usually is a large volume, repeatable manufacturing on the monthly cycle, and build to inventory. So you can ask, what if we need to do build to order, which is a very sophisticated enterprise order? So for example, like the semiconductor equipment, the larger facility, those kind of things. So that we also have, we call the enterprise order system. So in this example, let me show you a very quick, simple example. In this one, we have a $1 million order for this particular item. Could be medical equipment, semiconductor equipment. So in this amount order for this amount of units, then you can model the inventory, which is this is a simple example. When you need to procure material, and whether you need to break out the multiple phases material procurement, they can model that 290 days first batch material, maybe 200 days, you also need to procure a second batch. And when manufacture starts, that means we move raw material into the work in progress inventory. And then when manufacturing completes, we move into finished goods. And then when you ship, we move into cost of goods sold. So this is one example that you can model these manufacturing processes, and that will calculate into the cash requirements, which I will show you in a moment, how you plan out the inventory balance for each phases, and also your cash requirements. You can also expand the manufacturing order, by building the bill material into the order. So customer order $1 million for this item, and you can put in the component level, which is whatever the component need for this particular finished goods manufacturing. Then in inventory planning module, you can do more granular planning module for each component. So for example, in this particular order, we have 3 components, and each component may have a different manufacturing schedule, how many days they started, how much material need to purchase externally, and you can granularly split into more details. 3 component or 10 component or 20 component depends on complexity of this particular item. And you can build this bill material according to your product design. And each one can assign the cost of each component material. So that will give you more granular control for the entire manufacturing processes. So this is a build to order. So together, you saw that we have 3 different data sources coming from the sales position module. Now, what does that mean to my financial statements? So once you build out this order, inventory, bill material, production yield, production conversion, then you can see the order number will be posted to financials. So this is a simple example. Start with the raw material purchases. When manufacturing starts, you're going to work in progress inventory. All these is coming from the MRP module. And all these is based on the future sales projection that we're going to next year, 2023. So you can imagine this kind of order, you cannot enter into a accounting system, right? Because those internal controls cannot mess up with the real order. But for the future projection order, you can realize that resource planning in our platform, that we can handle all the future projections as well as existing order. You can also import the existing MRP order into our system, so you can build a history as well as forward-looking statement. So you can see all these work in progress. When the finished goods is manufacturing finished, we move into finished goods, and from finished goods going to shipment, which is December. Then we're going to cost of goods sold, and then we move into income statement. You can realize that there's a revenue here, and also this is a cost of goods sold here. So it's all good. Then you realize that there's one problem. Sales department is very happy to get a customer order, but my finance department is worried I run out of cash. It's because the manufacturing of bill material requires a certain amount of procurement, upfront cash outflow, but customer payment is always behind. So I get trouble. I run out of cash in March, even though business is great, right? So we get a lot of good customer, a lot of good manufacturing order, but I need to figure out how to finance those manufacturing resource. So I run out of cash. Then I need to look into where I can finance my order. Certainly you can push the vendor payment term to be further down, and you can ask customers to put in a prepaid deposits. But in this example, we say, okay, we can dig into a bank loan financing. So initially, we only have a small bank loan. So we need to finance that. So I talked to my bank, and my bank realized that we need a cash flow and also secure by customer order. So bank is willing to give us more loan, increase to $500,000, which is great. Now I increased my bank loan, and then also going through the interest payments, financing, the payback terms. Now when I come back to look at my balance sheet, now I'm good. So based on the bank loan financing, then I can live through my cash flow without running out of cash. So this particular function is very important for the organization, so that you can always watch out where my shortfall is, whether I get into trouble for my resource planning, not only the cash flow, you also can plan out your floor, your machinery, your facility, and your headcount as well. So in the manufacturing department, I have 15 headcount. This is my cost. And this is the overflow, which is a manufacturing cost due to inventory, right? So I need to transfer this costing to my finished goods inventory. And then this is my leftover facility. So if I run over the facility resource, then I will see negative. That's where we need to think about whether I need to build another plant, purchase additional equipment, or hire more people. So this will give you the quick overview of where my restraint is, where my shortage is for the entire manufacturing based on future sales projections. And this is super important for the organization to have an overview, not just cash flow, and also your headcount for manufacturing facility, your floor facility, your equipment capacity, and then you can plan ahead of time rather than getting to the situation that I run out of resource and then everyone start panic. So this is what we bring the value to help you to project into the future for the entire view of the entire organization, not just a single facility, right? So if you have a multi-location, we also have a consolidation module that can help you to manage each entity, whether it's in the US, in UK, in Europe, on any Asia manufacturing facility. You can plan each facility-based resource planning, and that will open up your control, your planning for across entire organization. So this will bring such a great value. So any questions, so we can probably preserve at the end in QA session, and also we'll show you the contact information. Feel free to reach out to us if you want to see more demo or more detailed customized demo to your organization. Feel free to reach out to us. And that's all I can show you today in the demo. So next, I'm going to pass on to Mira at the Fortis for payment solution.
Thank you, Jack. And Maya. Maya's going to take us through the Fortis solution. Thank you, Maya.
Thanks, Adrian. Nice work, Jack. All right, perfect. So we're going to switch up things a little bit today. We're not going to do a demo, but we will walk through some to-dos and things not to do, kind of some pitfalls to avoid. And first, we'll start with kind of who we are and go from there. So Fortis has been around for a little over 20 years. We're approaching 300 employees and have 250 plus integrations across the board. That agents and partners is an old piece that I forgot to change, so I apologize. That actually is integrations for ERP and throughout the channels. We do have over 30,000 merchants at this point, and we do north of $20 billion in transactions a year. So we are a complete commerce platform with payment processing from credit card to ACH to EFT to you name it. We're looking at Bitcoin and some other currencies as well. We do have the cutting edge payment technology and payment integration capability. We own the platform and the gateway, which makes it a lot easier for us to be able to integrate into most systems, makes it a lot quicker as well. The Fortis platform, we have the ability to do payment facilitation or PayFac. We have boarding APIs, virtual terminal comes standard with any merchant account that we have, full sales and marketing assist programs. What that means is if you have the need for, sales assist on our side for us to take the lead, whether you are a client, partner, or whatever, we can facilitate that as well. Our application process can be manual, but we prefer the e-signature, which helps out, kind of speeds up the process and requires less from the merchant. We do have mobile payments and integrated mobile payments for most of our integrations and solutions. Again, Fortis does own the gateway. We are the only platform that offers fully integrated cloud EMV. If you've seen the chip card, we do offer that, and it is actually available with the majority of our integrations. We offer quick invoices, click to pay, a customer portal, Text to pay is a kind of a new one. That is a gateway only solution. Surcharging and cash discounting, what that does is it pushes the fee from the merchant to the client, and allows you or your business to take less of a hit. We do have hosted payments page options and NFC, Apple Pay, Google Pay, and any other pay that you can think of, we probably offer it. Full interchange optimization. What that means is, if you've ever heard of level 2 and level 3, what happens is in those transactions, more data is sent through the gateway and the authorization process, therefore getting lower interchange rates or cost for business-to-business cards from the card brands. And we do have the BNPL, or buy now, pay later, that's coming soon, should be out by the end of Q4. And as I mentioned earlier, cryptocurrency is coming as well. So we offer something that's a little bit different, because the way that we set up our business and what we think is the cornerstone to the type of business we do is support. We have an ERP experience team at Fortis that basically takes you from A to Z through the support process. They also do the setup, the service ongoing, which is free, and again, the support. We do offer proactive PCI compliance assistance. Basically, all merchant accounts these days are required to do PCI compliance certification, and a lot of times, if you're filling out the wrong form, you're filling out about 300 questions, whereas most ERPs require the SAQD, I believe, and that is about 12 questions. So we help out with that, walk the clients through it, and with this ERP experience team, you have access to our bookings calendar. Our full ERP experience team is available in there, and you can pick a time by clicking the link below and setting up a time for whatever it is that you need, whether it's PCI compliance, demos, training, support, whatever it is. I said that we were going to kind of change it up today. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a couple of pitfalls, kind of what to watch out for. And the biggest thing in payments to watch out for are the red flags in the contract. And a lot of times it's in very fine small print, or print that you have to have a law degree to understand. Most of these agreements are 3-year term agreements. Some of them have an additional rolling term after the 3 years is up. Most of the time it's a 1-year rolling. Sometimes the ERP contracts are a little bit more, let's say, gray, and they will put you in for an additional 3 years. We always do a month-to-month contract, just to be very clear. We want you to know that we're going to take care of you, and we don't want to handcuff the client. So month-to-month is what we always recommend, unless the client would like to sign a longer-term contract. Some do. Again, it's something to watch out for. Standard is a 3-year term. You can generally negotiate that down to a 2 or 1, or even a month-to-month. But the 3-year rolling term on the back end, if you do not terminate within 90 days of the prior term or the current term, that's kind of a gotcha, right? It's something to look out for, and you always want to make sure that you're having somebody that knows look at those contracts before you sign them. In this contract, and this is a real contract, these are pieces that I've taken out of ERP, competitors' contracts, just to show, kind of what you're looking at and what you need to look for. In this one, it says merchant waives any and all claims to loss or damage arising out of such charges or debits of the operating account. So basically, they have full run of your operating account and can debit you and credit you as they wish. And it's just something that you really want to work with someone that knows what to look for, or in the company that you're working with, have somebody that you trust. So as far as the main things to look for, indemnification, a lot of times it's one-sided. And kind of the way I term indemnification is a insurance policy for whoever has the indemnification. So what you want in this when you're signing a contract is mutual indemnification. Basically, an insurance policy against anything that could happen over the life of the contract, and it covers both sides, the merchant and the client. And then exclusivity. It's basically saying that you will only process with one merchant service provider, regardless, and if your volume drops by more than 50% of the monthly average, or the average that you have put on your merchant application, then you will pay a fee. And it's also what's known as liquidated damages. So essentially, what is happening there is, in a liquidated damages or an exclusivity contract, is you are kind of being set up to, especially in ERP, right? They're big merchant accounts for the most part. They do have a lot of volume coming through, which means a lot of dollars coming through. And so in an exclusivity agreement, if you drop the volume and you're hit with these fees, they could be very large. And so in the next slide, I'll kind of give you, a liquidated damages, kind of for instance. And liquidated damages is a contractual provision requiring a party in breach to pay a predetermined amount to another party. Again, what that is if you are making a merchant service provider, say, $400 a month, you sign a 3-year term agreement. You do 1 year of that 3-year term agreement, and you decide you want to switch for whatever reason. You're on the hook for that $400 times the remaining months on the contract, or 24 months. So again, like I said, it could be a huge penalty to pay if you don't read the fine print. And in here, it also says that you are liable for any fees that they have, for anything that they've provided to you. So essentially, if they've traveled, discounted equipment, software, conversion costs, etc. So it leaves it basically wide open for them to charge you whatever they want. Again, it's really something that you need to look into. We do have the people available to help you kind of navigate that. We have counsel on staff that's willing to help as well. And if you do have an attorney that you feel comfortable with, please have them look at these merchant service contracts. So another thing that's really big when you're looking at a merchant service provider, you're always generally kind of the first step is to look at what you're going to save. How am I going to benefit from this? And the best way to do that is by looking at the savings that one provider is going to charge, going to give you over the current provider. And in some of these contracts, they have surcharging on processing volume, which is essentially, in this case, a surcharge that happens if you state a certain volume. Say you are going to do $100,000 a month, for quick math, and you actually do $300,000 in that month. You process $200,000 more than you stated, which equates to 400 times the stated volume, or 400 times $25 as an additional fee. So basically what they're doing is they're charging you $25 for every $500 in additional processed volume. And so as you can see, these little sneaky things can really get you. And surcharging on the overall level 2 and level 3 processing volume is something that you will see if you really look at some of these contracts. What happens is if you are getting that interchange optimization, some merchant service providers will basically in small print give you half of the savings, and they'll take half of the savings, but it's really worded in a very strategic way. So you just really have to have somebody that you know, trust, or a law professional, preferably a merchant service attorney, to look at it. Again, we do have those on staff, and we are fully willing to help you out with it. The other thing is grossly overstated savings. A lot of times what you're seeing in these contracts is when you set up a merchant services account, again, the first thing is to get a proposal, and that's the big shiny object. That merchant service proposal will give you the overall savings for what you can expect based on what you've done historically. And generally, you're providing merchant statements, and therefore they can do an apples to apples. But what's happening here is they're taking what you've done and overstating the actual level 2 and level 3 savings, saying that out of this one, and this one is an actual proposal, 693 transactions, 602 of them were able to be interchange optimized for a savings of $2,107.03. In this case, it's very overstated because most of your transactions are not going to be interchange optimizable. Probably 20 to 40% on the high side will be able to be interchange optimized. If you do a lot of government or business to business, commercial cards, that's where you're going to save on interchange optimization. But the key is to work with someone that does pass through that level 2 and level 3 data, or do the interchange optimization. We do have full interchange optimization. We do offer the gateway at no charge, and we will save you the money, and it's not going to be something that you have that little fine print that we borrow half of it and you get half of it. It's really a full service solution that actually does do the interchange optimization, and we are going to tell you where and when you're going to be able to save. So just kind of beware of the grossly overstated savings, and we are more than willing to help you look at any proposals that you get, or do our own proposals, walk you through it, do demos, whatever it is that you need to help you make the best decision. With that, I'm actually going to hand it over to Rob Ullman, and he can walk through rate negotiation and how to negotiate those low rates.
Great. Thanks, Maya. Hi, everybody. Yeah, this is a real key. I mean, obviously, Maya's slides were very important, but this is something that any business owner or anybody running a corporation should be aware of. The first bullet, know the average rates and fees for your industry. They vary based on the card types that go to certain industries. Retail stores take a lot of debit. Corporations use P cards. So reach out to us. We can let you know where you should be coming in at an average rate. Second bullet, always require an annual rate review. We do that with all of our customers without being asked, to make sure you folks are still where we quoted you at. Never accept a tiered pricing structure. This is huge. Tiered is if you get a statement and it says the words qual, mid-qual, or non-qual. It's very profitable for a credit card company to price that. We price our customers at what's called cost plus, or interchange at a pass-through. Always request to work with a manager. Maya and myself are not commissionable. We are working on your behalf. So a lot of sales reps, commissions, selling equipment, things like that, ask to work with an officer or a manager. Next slide, please. Thank you. Equipment leasing, or as we call it in the industry, fleecing, absolutely don't. Once again, another money maker for credit card companies. It's usually provided by companies that will offer you great rates but lock you into a machine that would cost $300, they'll charge you $2,400 over the term. Big thing to do, either buy the equipment outright or you can buy it online. We actually loan equipment to our customers as long as you process with us. We have a loaner agreement form. So we give you the equipment, we loan you, we don't give it to you. And if you ever leave for any reason, we'd ask that equipment come back. And always, once again, as Maya showed on all those previous slides, always read the fine print on any agreement. Next slide, please. Thank you. So we ask you to work with payment consultants like ourselves. We are the heart of a teacher. As Maya showed you on all those previous slides, we're here to educate you and represent you to qualify you for the best pricing. We are a neutral party. We work with multiple vendors, and we will look at each individual company and help find efficiencies, savings, and all those gotchas that Maya showed earlier. And we have multiple options for you to choose. Next slide, please. And here's actually skip this one. Let's go to the. Thank you. Here's a big one. We'll leave this up for a little while. This is our challenge, and this is real money. We are so confident with our level 2 and 3 optimization that we will save money, that if we do not, we will pay for 10 hours of consulting time with your current ERP partner. All you have to do is, at the end of this, I'll share our contact info. All you have to do is send a couple months worth of statements, and we will stand by this challenge. So once again, I mentioned that we're teachers. We will guide you through rate negotiations. We'll walk you through understanding what all those rates and fees are on your statement, and once again, tied specifically to your industry, as those do fluctuate. We'll help you decipher all those fees and get to what's called an effective rate. We will review all the fee structures with you, as noted above, and as Maya talked about, we have complete level 2 and 3 optimization, which will save you money on the back end without you doing anything. Support is very key. Maya mentioned one of the things that he didn't hammer hard enough, I didn't think, was this PCI compliance assistance. Anybody that's gone through PCI compliance knows what a nightmare it can be. And with our ERP support team, we'll help you. We can't do it for you, but we'll help you navigate it at no charge. We take phone calls, we answer emails, and very accessible. Next slide, please. Here's some general contact information. The best one for general inquiries is erpinfo@fortispay.com. And you can reach out to Maya or myself at these addresses, and I'm sure you can get them after this presentation.
I thank you, Jack, and I thank you, Maya. Great presentation, Robert. And thank you so much, audience, for taking the time out to be with us today. We know your time is hard to come by, and we really appreciate you spending it with us. So everybody, enjoy the rest of your week. I'm going to go ahead and close it out now. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.